Hi, I'm Barry Sahajian, and today I'd like to talk about making your bass lines more interesting, more serious, more musical. Let's get started with our first clip. I'll talk about it when we're finished and point out some of these benefits. So let's take a closer look at this, and I'm going to play it slow, break it down, and point out some variations you can make that I think will make this line feel a whole lot better. So what we have here is a root and fifth. That's the first thing I play. And then I play a chromatic approach approaching the fifth, starting from an offbeat, which is preferable. Since it is a dissonant note, we want to hear that note resolve. And so that's what we have so far, a root fifth with an approach note. And then we play the seventh. Then we go back and we hit the fifth. And then a root, a flat seven, and a fifth again. Another thing I'd like to point out is I'm playing the fifth short every time. That gives a little bit of a sort of a backbeat type feel and makes it feel pretty nice. Now watch what happens when I change the line and I make that fifth long instead of short. It changes the whole characteristic of the line. Just making the fifth short changes it, and to me makes it sound a whole lot better. Gives it a little character, a little feel. Another variation you can make, especially when you're playing in a small band, maybe a trio or even a duo. So all I'm doing is slapping a dead note. And it adds a little fullness to it. And if you're playing as a duo or something, or even with a trio where drummer that plays very straight and maybe doesn't do any special little articulation, you add it. You're the bass player, you do it. Takes a little bit of practice to insert that dead note in there, but it's well worth it if you can get it. I use it a lot, especially in smaller bands or even when you're playing by yourself. It picks it up. There's rest and all of a sudden you have silence, and maybe you want a little bit of a reference point that a drummer would have added if he were there, or maybe even the guitar player, depending on what the instrumentation of the ensemble is. The challenge of this example is that it's slow. Some musicians think that playing slower can be as difficult as playing fast because you have more space between the notes, so you have to be even more accurate than you would if you're playing fast. Okay, so what we have here is 7th. So basically what's happening is I'm making all the 7th notes short. Let me play it long and you'll see a very sharp difference. As opposed to I'd like to go through line number 4. Starts out on a G, and I go up to the 3rd. I hit the 3rd as a short note, or staccato. Then I go from the 4th, C, to the D, double chromatic approach to the 5th. And the 5th is played short as well. That's a staccato note too. I'll play the first 4, I'll play that first segment. And then I hit a D going up to the F to the G, which would be a double chromatic approach. And when I hit the G, that's also short. So the whole line sounds like this. Okay, the fingering is a little bit tricky. You could play the whole thing in position because the notes are all in position. But I find that awkward, so I kind of shift positions, I think. Then I move out of position and play the C to the D. And then what I do from here is I start with my baby finger, and now I'm in position to go back. So it could be any combination of those fingering techniques, but I guess it all depends on what particular line you're playing, where you're going, where you're going to go after you play that line. Typically this type of line would just be a repetitive thing, maybe in a blues progression or whatever. So anyway, I ask you might please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for videos yet to come. Like, comment. I'd like to add that I am giving private virtual lessons, and there'll be more information on that in the description below. Until next time, keep playing bass.